Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Gamertime Shows podcast. It is week 9 of your NFL locks. I'm your one of your hosts, Mr. Matt Kelly, and of course, I am always joined week after week by the man, Mr. Big Al Mocious. What's up, Big Al?
How you doing, Matthew? And happy Halloween to us all. It's been a windy, scary day out there, so be safe driving, everybody, if you're out there driving, listening to us.
Yeah, trick-or-treating was actually postponed until tomorrow because of how crazy the wind is supposed to be tonight.
Oh boy, that's hopefully it comes down for tomorrow.
Yeah, oh yeah. So, I just want to touch on something before we start our locks here. One thing is, huge news has been passed down. I believe it was yesterday or the day before, but the news was come down that the board of the NCAA has unanimously voted to approve of college athletes being able to be compensated for their likenesses and their characteristics and things like that across the board, as far as advertising or commercials, autographs, anything like that. So for anybody in our position, for the video game enthusiasts of the world, this opens up a huge door for something that a lot of guys are wishing would come back, as it's been 6 years since the last NCAA football video game. Now, I am not announcing that EA Sports is talking to the NCAA right now, because I doubt it, but that would be the assumption for the next step. So this is huge news as far as another NCAA video game to be coming out over the next couple of years, hopefully. We have been itching for it for a long time now, and I'm hoping that not only does it return, but it returns in full force, and it's a great video game, because it'll sell like buku money. It'll be just amazing. What do you think, man?
Yeah, again, Matt, I think you and me both know that of how big we've been playing these college games, even the college basketball series, the March Madnesses of the world.
Yep.
2K, NCAA, basketball 2K stuff. It's all ready to come back into form, and I'm happy that they can come to an agreement and do this. We're excited for more entertainment on our systems here, and that could be like a franchise waiting to happen for either game. So
yeah,
definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. You have any other things you want to get off your chest here quick before we start our locks of the week?
Well, sure. Speaking of champions, there was a champion crowned last night in Major League Baseball.
Yes, there was.
World Series.
Yep.
The Washington Nationals went down to Houston and won in Game 7, 6-2, to get their first championship of their franchise. I congratulate them fully. It's amazing how they can win all the games on the road and still win the title. Houston's a very great young team. I know they won a couple years ago, but I like to see another team win it. So congrats to both teams, but more props to the Nationals for doing what they did.
Yeah, this is big news. I mean, it's to have a star player for the length of his career so far, like Bryce Harper, draft him straight out of the gate, and then to finally let him go, and then the very next time you step on the field, you win a World Series without him. That's pretty. It's pretty crazy. So they definitely, rallied around kind of like us against the world kind of thing, and took it to the full distance and took home the chip. So congrats to the Nationals, I guess. Yeah.
Definitely, and may I just add quickly that they were at one point, they were 19-31 and came all the way back to get to the postseason, and they won through 5 elimination games, all of them trailing. So props to them for being resilient.
That's crazy.
All right, Matthew, you're welcome to, but I'm going to do a spooky Halloween edition of our picks here. I'm going to do trick or treat with my picks. You're welcome to join, but tonight we start out, it's underway right now. So it's early, right now, but 49ers at the Cardinals. Who do you like in these first round picks battling it out tonight?
Yeah, game just started. It's the Thursday night game in Arizona, and I gotta say, the Cardinals, they're playing a little bit better than I thought they would. They're not like gangbusters and playing great, but they're playing decent. And but there is the opposite team is definitely very, very much further past my expectations for them, and that's the 49ers, as they're undefeated at I believe 7-0. They're playing great football, and their defense is incredible. So I'm definitely gonna take the 49ers on this one. The Cardinals are just, they're at home, but they're just not ready for this type of football yet. Give them a year or two, and I think they'll get there. But the 49ers are just a better team.
Okay. For my first pick here, tricking or treating, I'm gonna go treat. And that would be with the 49ers.
Yeah.
They, as you said, they have a more talented team. Arizona, they got a nice win in New York a couple weeks ago, and they're eventually going to come on the rise. Just not right now against this Niners team. It's Halloween. Anything can happen. Spooky, but not too spooky. I think the Niners will give them a treat and win this game.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Sunday's games now. Moving on to Houston and Jacksonville. Houston at the Jaguars. Deshaun Watson, we trust. Gardner Minshew, we trust. Who do you like? Those two.
Well, Jacksonville as the home team. This is, and I actually think that's correct, because apparently London loves the Jaguars. They are just crazy about them for whatever reason, and there's even been speculation that the Jaguars could someday move to London. That's just crazy to me. But the Texans are playing pretty good right now. They're probably the better team, but I'm gonna go with the Jaguars on this, just because I actually think they might have a home field advantage in this game. So it would be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jaguars.
So that game is in London, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, either way, I'm going another treat here. I like the Jaguars as well. Look, don't get me wrong, Houston's a great team, but I still need to see a little bit more from their defense, especially with J.J. Watt being out for the year. Now that he's out, I think it would be a little bit harder and a little bit easier on Gardner Minshew. So, I'm going to go treat the Jaguars to a victory.
Okay.
Now we go back to the United States, and where the Minnesota Vikings are going to one of the hardest places to play, Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes, no Mahomes, doesn't matter. Who do you like?
Without Mahomes, the offense is just a smidge lacking. I think they still had a decent outing last week, but I think it's no, I know it's very obvious that the Chiefs are a much better team with Patrick Mahomes, but the Vikings are kind of clicking on all cylinders right now. Kirk Cousins is playing really, really well. The receivers are coming alive. I think it's a tough place to play at Arrowhead, so I'm gonna go with. I'm actually gonna go with the Chiefs. I think the home field advantage is gonna be pretty important, and I think the Vikings are playing good, but it's gonna be a close game, and I'm gonna go with the home team.
Okay, you made the point that Mahomes will be out, and the Matt Moore did a pretty decent job as a backup because they got me some points, especially in fantasy. That's how I won this week. But Matthew, I'm gonna go trick. I think this is a tricky type of game, and I just see it with the Vikings and their offense on firing. I don't even know if Kansas City can stop them. So I'm gonna go trick here and take the Minnesota Vikings on the road.
All right.
Now we have the dreadful, should I say, Deadskins going to Buffalo, who just got killed by the Philadelphia Eagles. Washington going to Buffalo, 5-2, 1-6. Are you calling an upset?
No, Buffalo they're a pretty good team, and they didn't show up against the Philadelphia Eagles last week, and now they're returning. Well, no, they were home correctly last week, or were they in Philly?
It was in Buffalo.
It was in Buffalo. Okay, so they're still at home, but they're going against a much worse team in the Washington Redskins. The Bills are just gonna. I've got a 10-point win for the Bills here.
Okay. I'm gonna go treat. Matt. The Bills will get their next victory and move on against these horrific Washington Redskins. Maybe they should call RG3 back to even have a chance in this game. But right now, I don't really like the Bills' offense that much, other than Cole Beasley. But I think their defense will hold ground, and they'll get, as you said, 10-point win. So I'm going to treat with the Bills.
Okay.
Now we got a lackluster of horrible teams. You got the New York Jets, who apparently Halloween was last week for Sam Darnold because he said he was seeing ghosts. So I don't know. Is he going to see ghosts in Miami, who just came off almost an upset of the Pittsburgh Steelers Monday night? Jets Miami. What goes on?
This is a battle of two teams that are combined 1-13. This is one of the. This is going to be a doozy. It's going to be really tough to watch. The Dolphins are at home with a really, really struggling Sam Darnold coming to town, and I am going to go with. I'm going to go with the Jets. I think the Sam Darnold needs a turnaround game. I still think he's a good quarterback, but he needs a pretty crappy defense like the Dolphins to pick his game back up. So I'm going to say the Jets revive themselves.
Okay. You're saying the Jets revive themselves. You know, Matt, I'm going to go trick. And this is a tricky one for me because congratulations, Miami. You're going to get your first win of the year.
Holy cow.
It's going to be right here at home against the New York Jets. The Miami Dolphins and their fans will celebrate their first victory. Miami, I know they just picked up another corner. I forget from where. But they look good against the Steelers on the road. And I think they slowed down the running game and make Darnold I'll see even more ghosts, even though tonight's Halloween. So, give me the trick in the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, ding, ding. And if you can confirm for me, Matthew, this next game, the Chicago Bears are traveling to the Philadelphia Eagles. Bears need a win, and Philly would like to have a win to stay with the Cowboys. Do you know who's favored in this game, actually?
It looks like the line is Philadelphia minus 4.5. So it looks like Philadelphia is favored, especially at home. So.
Okay, what do you like? What do you like there?
Well, there's going to be a lot of nightmares for Chicago when they see the Eagles because they're going to think of that double doink from last year. Luckily, it's not in Chicago, so you don't literally have to see those double doink field goal posts. But this game is in Philadelphia, and that's actually going to be probably the main reason why Philly is probably going to run away with this one. I think it'll be close for most of the game, but I think Philly might pull off like 2 touchdowns late or something to kind of make it seem like it was a easy victory, but it was probably close. So I got the Eagles.
Okay. Yeah, since you said the Eagles are favorite, I'm gonna go another trick. Give me the Bears to bounce back, and they need this more than the Philly does. So I had the Bears in the beginning of the season to win the division. That's not looking so well. But I'd say the Bears, knowing that running back on the other side, Jordan Howard, plays for the Eagles, I think they slow him down because they know how to stop him. They played with him. And Trubisky maybe has 2 passing touchdowns. Close one, though, but trick. Bears win.
Okay.
Now here we go to Pittsburgh, where they just came off a win to the Dolphins. The Indianapolis Colts come to town. Who do you see in Indy and Pittsburgh?
So Pittsburgh has been sort of struggling for the last couple of weeks. I think although the Colts may be the better team, I feel like the Colts really didn't play up to the talent that they could last week in their win against Denver, because I don't think Denver is playing good at all, and the Colts barely won that game. So Pittsburgh coming off of the home win against the Dolphins to get a little bit of momentum going to try and get back into the division. I think they keep it rolling here at home, and I think they get their second win. I don't know if it's in a row or not. I think they might have 3 in a row. I'm not sure, but I think they're going to beat the Colts on Sunday. So.
Yeah, I'm going to get a treat here, Matt. I have to agree. Just to keep it short and sweet, I just think Indy is a lot better at home than they are on the road, so I don't like them being on the road in Pittsburgh. I like the Steelers.
Okay.
Now we got a all year up and down team, Tennessee Titans, going to the Carolina Panthers, who, have Christian McCaffrey. What can happen there? How bad will it be?
How bad will it be? Well, last week the Panthers were sitting at 4-2, and I thought they would be, a decent team for maybe a playoff push. They took a really ugly loss last week and really didn't show up at all. I think that they are at home against the Titans, and I think that it's a nice bounce back game for them. It might actually be closer than a lot of people think. Carolina is favored minus 3.5, but I think this could be a 1-score game. But I'm gonna go with the Panthers.
Okay. Matt, I'm gonna go treat. I'm gonna go treat with you. I like the Panthers. Tennessee, I still somehow believe in their defense, but It's just not going to be enough, and I think Christian will have a big day. So, I'm actually going to go just above you and say the Panthers get a satisfying victory. Not close. I think they won away pretty quickly.
Okay.
Panthers at home.
All right.
Okay, next we have the Lions, who just lost the running back for a couple weeks. I know that because he's on my fantasy team. And going to John Gruden's Raiders. The Black Hole. The Black Hole. Hard to win at. You know that from experience. Lions, Oakland. What's going on?
The Raiders have been surprisingly playing better than what I thought they would. They're exceeding expectations, where the Lions are sitting at 3-3-1. I think that's, probably pretty much where I would put them. That's extremely, extremely average. That is, 3 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. I mean, you cannot get right in the middle more than that. So, if you thought you could get a 500 record after 7 games, if you thought that was impossible, well, tell you what, the Lions did it. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders at home. I think that their offense is playing really, really well right now. They've got a great rookie running back. And Carr is actually playing decent. Nothing too great or anything, but he's definitely worthy of the starter job and probably making Gruden pretty happy right now. So they're sitting at 3-4, but I think that they can get to 500 and kind of make a push at a wild card here. So I'm going to go with the Raiders at home.
Okay. I'm going to say treat here, man. I'm going to agree with you. Raiders sounds like they're the favorite. I like what the Lions do, though. I like Galladay. I like Stafford. I like their new tight end. And it stinks their running back's going to be out. But I don't think they'll have enough on the road to beat an Oakland team who can score points with that running back. And God bless them, let them score this week. I'll give it a treat. I'll give them a treat and say the Raiders.
All right.
So now we're into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Up and down team all year, going to the 12th man in Seattle. Good battle here. Does Seattle get the home win? Is this a trick or a treat?
So, like you said, the Buccaneers, very up and down season so far. They're sitting at 2-5, and I think that they're just not consistent enough to really do much this year. Jameis Winston, I'm not sure is the solution at quarterback, but that's another story for another time. This week they're going into Seattle, one of the hardest places to play. And I think that's really going to show up. So I think the Seahawks are going to win this easily, actually. Tampa Bay is just not good enough.
Man, I'm going to go treat. And I got to agree with you again here. Just in Russell I trust. And, he's got some nice weapons. And on the outside with DK Metcalf and Mr. Lockett. So, give me, as you said, give me a Seattle convincing victory at home.
Yeah.
Treat. Okay, now. The Cleveland Browns. A team that you picked for 2 upsets this year and didn't happen on either one of them. are going mile high to your Denver Broncos.
Yes, sir.
Tricking or treating? What do we got in Denver?
Okay, so Joe Flacco has decided that he wants to go on the microphone and kind of chew out the decision making of his head coach in Vic Fangio. He didn't go on a huge tirade, but he expressed his displeasure, so to speak. And the Browns, they come into this game with a healthy quarterback because Joe Flacco has also decided that his disc in his neck decided to slip out, and he will be out for up to, what did they say, 4 to 6 weeks. So it is week 9, and in let's say 5 weeks from now, that'll be week 14. With 4 games left in the season, the Broncos potentially could be sitting at 2-11. Okay, 2-11. Now, what starting quarterback after a neck injury would want to come back to a team with 4 games left sitting at 2-11? Okay, there is a huge issue right now in Denver, Colorado, of the icon and the best quarterback to ever play in the state, named John Elway, who is currently the general manager. Yes, the general manager of the Denver Broncos, and he has yet to make a good decision. The only decision he made that is worthwhile was the signing of Peyton Manning, but who wouldn't sign Peyton Manning? Okay, that was not a hard decision to make. Okay, so he has drafted quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. He has signed quarterback after quarterback. None of them have fared out, from Trevor Siemian to Paxton Lynch to Brock Osweiler to Case Keenum and to now Joe Flacco. Nobody has worked out for the Denver Broncos, and they decided to draft one more quarterback, and for whatever reason, completely healthy after a 8-week injury, coming all the way back from preseason week number 3, I think it was, having 10 weeks of no practice, completely healthy, says he is in no pain, got the okay from the doctors, got the okay from the head coach, still not allowed to practice. I have no idea why, but they will not practice the rookie quarterback, and if he does not practice, then that means he will not start. So the Denver Broncos are deciding to put in some, I think maybe second year or third year player in, I can't even remember his name. That's who it is. Such a low name nobody. And the Denver Broncos passing game and offense in general are just going to be so freaking bad. It's just a mystery as to why we're not practicing our second round draft pick quarterback. Supposedly, potentially could be our franchise quarterback, and we're not even practicing him, as he is just finally healthy, and we don't even want to put him on the field. I just don't get it. So Denver Broncos, with a solid defense and solid run game, still are not going to be good enough to stop even the lowly Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, yes, I've picked them to win the last 2 weeks, and they have not. They will come to Denver, and they will win this game. If they don't, then they are a very bad team. So I got the Browns.
Well.
Yes.
Before I get into my pick here, just for the record, I heard you're talking about how John Elway picked Manning to come to Denver and win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Now I'm hearing from sources that Eli Manning has 2 teams that he was considering if he would leave the Giants after this year. And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars to hook up with his old coach. And the other team is, if not one Manning, how about 2? Maybe. So I'm hearing either Eli's going to go to Jacksonville or maybe even your Denver Broncos. That would be a show.
Well,
but
look, if is Eli Manning better than Case Keenum? Yes. Is Eli Manning better than Trevor Siemian? Yes. Is Eli Manning better than Joe Flacco? Probably yes. Is Eli Manning better than any of the other options right now for the Denver Broncos? Yes. So it would be a step up, probably a very minor step up, because that's not the solution we want right now. Okay, we need to draft Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Herbert, anybody. We just need that franchise quarterback to come to Denver, and we just need to go from there. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, if you're going to go with any quarterback, I hope you go with the one in a couple years, Anthony Gordon of Washington State, but that's another story for another time. You know, Matt, if this was a couple years ago, I'd say it's a trick that Cleveland would win this game. But apparently, I'm going to say treat, and Cleveland still wins this game. I think it looks like they are the favorites, and I believe that Cleveland will take over this game. Denver looked good a couple weeks ago, but I think Cleveland's just a little bit better right now.
Yeah.
And now we got the bad man Aaron Rodgers going into the charged up city of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The Packers, the Chargers. Who do you like, that bad man?
Well, the Chargers have not lived up to expectations so far this year. They're sitting at 3-5, whereas the Packers look like they're back to their good old great Green Bay selves, and they're sitting at 7-1. The Packers are clicking, probably on every side of the ball, from offense and defense. Their offense is Aaron Rodgers looking like old Aaron Rodgers, MVP form. I am going to go with the Packers to come to Los Angeles and steal one and go to 8-1.
8-1. That's what you're predicting.
Oh yeah.
All right. You say 8-1, huh? Convincingly?
Yeah. I'll give them a 10-point win.
A 10-point win. Okay. You know, you're talking about a 10-point win over Mr. Phillip Rivers, the man who's carried that team year in, year out.
Correct.
That's what you're predicting. Okay.
Yes.
You know, there is a trick here, but it's not going to be this game. I'm going to treat the Green Bay Packers to another victory. That bad man, I just can't bet against him. It's just, whenever I think he's down, he's up. So,
Yep.
When he's up, he's way up. So just give me the Packers. I'll take a treat. Now, Sunday Night Football. The New England Patriots are going to the Ravens. What's going to happen when Bill Belichick and that undefeated team battles a quarterback they've never seen before? Lamar Jackson. Lightning in a bottle. Ravens, Patriots, Sunday night. What do you got?
Well, the Baltimore Ravens are playing pretty well right now. As badly as I want to pick the Ravens right now for them to beat and knock off the undefeated Patriots, the Patriots are just so freaking good, man. It's insane. They're just remarkable. I'm going to go with the Patriots here in Baltimore.
Okay. You know, Matt, I almost agree with you, because it's hard to bet against a team that's on a roll like this. But spookiness happens. Give me a trick. And the trick is going to be Bill Belichick, and they're going to go down, and they're going to be all pissed off, and they're going to run the rest of the game. Alright, sorry, got a little out of control. Anything's possible, especially Sunday night in Baltimore. Give me the Ravens for an upset.
Wow.
Yes, and yes. Daniel Bryan. Alright, now, back to Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there in Hot Z watching the Steelers almost lose to the Dolphins. And I'm like, well, next Monday from now is a great division game between America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, who hopefully get a win to stay on top of the division against their lower part of the division.
Big Al.
Yes.
The Giants are going to win.
Come again?
The Giants are going to win.
I didn't even mention them yet, but yes, they're playing the Giants. Well, let me just mark that down already. Can you give me, before I get into my reasoning of my obvious win, can you please give me some debate on why do you think you're going to win this?
Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley are going to put up 600 yards.
600 yards combined?
Correct.
So that's 3 from each of them.
Correct. 400, to be exact, it'll be 450 passing and 150 rushing.
Go on. I mean, this is just absurd, but go on. Keep going.
So, there is going to be a little bit of a revenge factor for Saquon, because Daniel Jones didn't play in week 1 when they faced each other before. But in New York, they are going to be fired up. Daniel Jones is pulling it together, and he is going to have his biggest win yet. And that is going to be against the arch rival Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm done.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let me tell you something, brother. What you gonna do when DeMarcus Lawrence and Robert Quinn and the newly acquired Michael Bennett come sacking down on you, Daniel Jones? And what you also gonna do, brother, when Zeke Elliott comes running wild all over New York? Dallas, big.
Wow.
Treat that, boys.
That was beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Alright. Well, on that note, that is a perfect way to end this one. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Big Al's big treat of this Halloween season. The Dallas Cowboys over the New York Giants on Monday Night Football. Alright, so I just want to thank people for tuning in for this special Halloween edition episode of the Gamertime Shows podcast. It is week 9 of your NFL locks here on YouTube. Please share, like, subscribe, everything. You can check us out on Twitter at Gamertime Shows if you have any questions for the show, any topics for the show, any ideas for the show, anything like that. You can email me gamertimeshows@gmail.com. It is a very public area for anybody who wants to throw in their 2 cents, and I very much appreciate for everybody who tuned in this week. We will be right here next week for week 10. Man, this season is moving right along. So, I am Matt. I thank you very much. And for Big Al?
Yes, once again, happy Halloween, folks. And just be safe out there. you don't know what psycho like Michael Myers is around. So just be careful on the roads, people.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you next week. Peace.